What's good, YouTube? WWE here, back again, once again. And today we are here for another WWE Presents. I kind of said that wrong, but we're here for another WWE pay-per-view. I know we are 2 months behind. We didn't end up having a WWE, no, it was NXT TakeOver Respect, I believe. We didn't have a review for that. And even though I attended it, we didn't have a review for Hell in a Cell either, which kind of sort of sucks. And we are still a few days late for Survivor Series, but we're going to do it. And hopefully for the next pay-per-view, which is TLC sometime next month, we will actually have a review up the night of. But either way, I already said it, but we are here to review WWE Presents Survivor Series 2015. And of course, we're joined by Stone Cold Steve Austin's #1 fanboy, the Heat of Mo.
If you thought Survivor Series 2015 was a piece of shit, give me a hell yeah.
Okay, no, that was way too planned and thought out. No, you're going to hell for that one. But we are here to review Survivor Series 2015, and I know there are a lot of mixed opinions out there about it. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and just dive into this. What's the best word? What's the best way to describe? Let's go ahead and dive into this ruined sandcastle of a pay-per-view.
The worst pay-per-view of 2015.
This dry highlighter of a pay-per-view. Okay, anyways, starting the night off. A lot of people get upset that we don't cover the dark matches or the kickoff shows. I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't really pay attention to the kickoff shows. I want you to know, when I actually went to Hell in a Cell, I got there as the kickoff show was like starting. So I don't know why. It just doesn't really catch my fancy. But surprisingly enough, the Dudley Boys were a part of the kickoff show. They had their quote-unquote traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series matchup on the kickoff show.
I originally thought that was the Survivor Series match.
That was the whole
extremely disappointed
point of Survivor Series. That's what it's been for the past 30 years, or however long the pay-per-view's been running. The main event was always the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. That was the hype appeal of that pay-per-view. You know, you have WrestleMania, which is the grandest stage of them all. You have SummerSlam, which is like the big show halfway through the year. Then you have Survivor Series, which is 5-on-5. You know, who is the best? Who will survive? You have the Royal Rumble match. You know, these are the big four pay-per-views, and your Survivor Series match is the kickoff? What? Like, it just, I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I didn't even watch the match. So if you saw it, Mo, speak on it.
I did not see it, but my view on it is people who aren't in a storyline got thrown in together, heels versus face, and yeah, that was the first match. A complete waste of time.
It makes me
great. Well, it was the longest match on the card.
Technically, it's not the first match on the official card. It was a part of the kickoff show. But I don't know. It just makes me really sad because it shows you the deplorable state that WWE is in right now. Is that they're stretched so thin. The roster is so small. They have so few people who are actual name drawers, main event status, that they can't even host the regular Survivor Series match. You know, and it's what's really funny is during the later Survivor Series match, because they scrambled and threw another one together, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. But JBL actually mentioned when he was a part of Survivor Series match, which in my opinion was one of the best Survivor Series matches of all time. Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, back when branding actually meant something. And I'm just saying, the promos for that, everything, JBL led SmackDown onto Monday Night Raw. They had the entire roster duking it out in the fucking entrance ramp of SmackDown. Like, that was hype as shit. That is what Survivor Series is meant to be. And they don't have the star power for it anymore. And it makes me so fucking sad. Because, that is just the easiest way to get people hyped up. Is to get people split on two sides. Even if it's from the same company like WWE, if you can just get people to root for one side versus another, then it's 100%, you will sell that show. They didn't do it. It's the kickoff show.
I mean, like I said, it was literally people who aren't in a storyline, which there's 10 people who are not in a storyline. Yeah.
Ain't that about a bitch? I
That
feel like the
sucks.
reason they didn't focus on a Survivor Series match or traditional Survivor Series match is because they were too focused and scrambling on trying to put together the World Heavyweight title tournament, and that's been the focus on Raw for the past couple weeks. But even then, that doesn't make any sense to me, because you could still have matches, qualified matches or whatever, for a traditional Survivor Series match and still hold the hype for the World Tournament.
I guess
World
they saw
Championship
the
tournament.
World Tournament was way more high profile than the Survivor Series match.
It's a shame. So, speaking of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship Tournament, the first match on the actual card when the show starts, we have Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio. And I guess we're going to talk about the predictability of the entire tournament towards the end. But when it comes to the first match, and consequently the second match as well, you have Roman Reigns versus the United States Champion. In what world are they going to have Del Rio come back, hold the United States Championship, and then immediately hold the WWE World Heavyweight Championship again as well?
I mean, you just throw a curveball at WWE, maybe. I don't know.
I think that's a little bit of a stretch, even to say that much. It's just, what really sucks is, like we just spoke on how they couldn't take the time to put together an actual Survivor Series matchup, but they promote and they push this entire WWE World Heavyweight Championship tournament, which is predictable straight down to every single match. I think the only match that people actually turned their head to was the one that was Kalisto beat Ryback or some shit like that. And everyone's like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? Like, this is actually kind of hype. Every single other match you just look at and you're like, oh, okay.
Roman Reigns,
okay.
Dean Ambrose at the last match.
Yeah, you knew it was going to be Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. But for Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio, I kind of didn't like that Del Rio was thrown into this. Again, it goes back to how he said they have such a thin roster. I didn't like that because Del Rio came back and he's had this huge push, and he just gets thrown into this tournament and gets squashed by Reigns. And it's like, why? Like, what did Del Rio get out of that?
He got to fight Roman Reigns. That's good, right? That's what WWE thinks. Roman Reigns is the shit, right?
I mean, if anything, what they should have done is, and God forbid we have another match that ends by DQ or whatever, but somebody should have came out and cost Del Rio the match, and then you would put Del Rio in a rivalry with them for the U.S. title.
But they don't have anybody else to do a Del Rio rivalry. I mean, they could, but like, nobody fits the bill. Who could you throw in to interfere and cost Del Rio? In all honesty.
Well, they're too afraid to turn Ambrose heel, even though he would probably be the top heel in the roster. Who's another heel that could come in and do something like that and challenge for the U.S. title?
Literally nobody else. I could not, like, I'm looking at the people on here. The Miz, the Bo Dallas, Stardust.
Stardust. He could have done it. I mean, I know he's kind of fallen to the wayside as of late, but still, I could see him come in and be heelish.
I think he's only doing dark matches, though. That's all he wants to do. That's why he's in all of the kickoffs and shit, and he's not doing anything besides SmackDown and kickoffs.
I don't know. I'm just saying, I feel like that matchup, and don't get me wrong, the matchup itself was actually kind of hype. Surprisingly enough, for how stiff a wrestler Reigns is and whatnot, it actually was kind of hype. I actually paused what I was doing, and I stayed at the TV for a second towards the end there, because they did have a decent exchange towards the end for the title. For the match. But again, it comes down to predictability. Everyone knew Reigns was going to win.
Sucks, but you never know. You know, just shit. WWE took the safest route possible, the absolute safest route possible, which is really sad that they did that. They just were like, and creative literally said, hey, that Reigns push we were gonna do, let's just do it now. And they fucked it up immensely, and it's boring.
I think they fucked it up immensely because, well, let's speak about this later. Speaking of predictability, the second match of the night was the other semifinal matchup in the WWE World Heavyweight Championship Tournament. We have Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens, and I'm sure for a lot of you guys, this is like a dream match made in heaven. Me personally, I am not a fan of Dean Ambrose. I don't care. Like before you start typing and trying to tell me why he's great and why I should love him, I will tell you right now, I do not care. When it comes to sports entertainment, if I don't like the character, if I don't like the person, I just don't like him. And that's simple as it gets. I don't like Dean Ambrose. You can be mad, you can be upset, you can do whatever. It's not going to change my mind. I don't like Dean Ambrose. And in a perfect world, Kevin Owens would have won that. In a perfect world, Kevin Owens would be WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But I can understand he needs time to grow. Let him sit on the mid-card for a little while, and then he'll reach that upper mid-card status. Maybe this time next year or around SummerSlam or so, he could be challenging for the World Heavyweight title. But still, this was another match that was really, really decent. You know, both of the semifinal matches, they had a lot of good spots in them. The only thing I didn't like about the second match was how Owens had a lot of momentum, and then it was just like immediate. Ambrose just no soul to move, and then
really
all of a sudden,
slow,
boom.
And it made Owens look like, wait, what the fuck? I thought Owens was all powerful and shit, and Dean Ambrose just shit on him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Ambrose just out of nowhere hit this dirty deeds, which, in all honesty, for a finisher, is not all that. It's just a double underhook DDT, and oh my god, Kevin Owens is down. The man who beat John Cena on his debut on Raw, or on the main roster, just gets bodied by a simple DDT. Like, come on. Like, it was just one of those things where he it was literally the no-sell of a move, and all of a sudden Dean Ambrose does that annoying-ass little swing kick thing through the rope and comes back and wins. And it's like, oh, okay.
I was kind of hoping for Owens to win, to be honest. And be like,
I was too.
Be like the little authority thing. I mean, that's the only way they could do it, because he had good relations with Triple H.
Yeah.
I was like, they could totally do Kevin Owens winning this match and then doing some really sneaky shit on Reigns and taking the belt, but no, the dream is over. The
and
dream
again,
was over.
like you said, they just stuck to the simple, quote-unquote, safest way to handle the entire tournament. And I don't understand what, like, okay, Mo, you're a fan of Ambrose, right? Mm-hmm. What is the appeal behind Reigns versus Ambrose? Just because they're buddy-buddy after the Shield?
To be honest, I thought the Reigns versus Ambrose would have been the heel turn. I thought Ambrose was about to turn heel on Reigns and all that. I was like, yes, he's finally not this goody-goody buddy-buddy person with Reigns. But, no. They have been totally doing nothing with Dean Ambrose at all. He's literally sitting there, and his Roman Reigns is like butt buddy, and that's it. And it's really sad, because he could do so much more on his own. Especially when he was doing that little world title thing with Seth Rollins, they could have done so much with him, but no, they just
I can't in a real world. I can't see Ambrose ever beating Rollins. I can't for multiple reasons. Like, in ring, Rollins is fucking amazing, and at the same time, just Rollins himself in the position that they've casted him, Rollins can't lose to Ambrose.
Oh, I understand. Like, obviously that could not have happened at that time, but like, if they did something with Dean Ambrose, or like aligned him in like a proper storyline, and he actually won, or it was actually like, because he's been face but losing, so it's like, just turn him heel so that he can actually win.
I think they should turn him heel, and God forbid I say this, they could try and make a new Stone Cold out of him, because he's got that, fuck the authority, fuck the boss personality to him. I think that they could try and run something like that, or if they even wanted to keep him face, just because even if they tried to turn him heel, he'd be so popular as a heel, he'd still be a face. It would be like a situation like Taker versus Lesnar, where no matter how hard you try and make Taker heel, everyone still fucking loves him. You pretty much have two faces going head to head. And they could do that. Ambrose versus Reigns, Ambrose versus whoever. They just, I don't know.
If they turned him on Reigns this night, though, Reigns would get destroyed. Like, they would boo Reigns, and Ambrose.
Well, I mean, that's no different than like Cena versus Lesnar.
Yeah.
Everyone boos Cena, but at the end of the day, you still want to see Cena in the match.
Yeah, I mean, it would work too. It would work if Dean Ambrose had this little thing with Roman Reigns. It would have been so.
Everyone's calling for a Roman Reigns heel turn. That I can't see in a million years. Because to be a heel, you have to have so much charisma, so much personality. Look at the best heels of all time.
Paint dry. That's what
exactly.
Reigns is.
And it's like Roman Reigns needs to work more so on not just himself, but he needs to go over with the crowd better. He needs to develop more of a character, because when you think of the character of Roman Reigns, what is Roman Reigns?
He's a muscly guy with long hair, and he's like, hey, you better believe that. That's it. That's Roman Reigns.
Like we were just talking about just now. Like, Dean Ambrose is this psycho, fuck the authority type character. You can relate to it, not necessarily relate, but you can recognize a character that's there, and that fits well into a storyline. Kevin Owens is this brash smartass who does whatever the fuck he wants, doesn't care who you like. He's gonna take the title from them and crush them in the ring. That's Kevin Owens. Brock Lesnar is this beast. Like, literally, that's the only thing you need to describe him. He's the beast.
He doesn't have to talk on the mic, and people like him.
Exactly, and that's like he doesn't. Roman Reigns doesn't have that individual character to him. He's just this. That's him right there.
He's a muscly guy with good looks and muscles. Vest. I was a member of the Shield. Believe that. Yes. That is Roman Reigns. He is a character.
We're beating a dead horse at this point, but when it came to the two semifinal matches, we knew that Reigns and Ambrose were going to win because they were going up against the other mid-card champions, and there's no point in having the mid-card champions go to the finals, because even then it would be even more predictable, because it's like, oh, okay, well, so-and-so's going to win because they're not going to do the title
Mexican champion, come on, Alberto Del Rio.
But could you imagine if Del Rio and Owens both won?
That would actually
That would have been a curveball of all curveballs.
That would have confused me so much.
Wait, could you imagine if, like, Ambrose interfered, if they turned Ambrose heel or whatever, and he interfered and cost Reigns his match, and then in turn Reigns interfered with Ambrose and cost his match, and then it would be Ambrose versus Reigns. It'd be Ambrose versus Reigns, which is what the WWE is trying to convince everyone that they want to see. You could do that at TLC, and then either Owens or Del Rio would be world champion.
It'd be double champion too.
That would be insane. That'd be insane. I don't know. Anyways, the two semifinal matches, while they had a lot of decent spots to them, some spots were slower than others. They were like okay. They were like 3 out of 5 matches, I'd say.
Yeah.
To the best. Nothing super duper memorable, but it wasn't terrible either. Moving on past that, we have the next traditional, quote-unquote, Survivor Series matchup. And let me get the full listing of its participants. Let me get the full listing, because it's 5 on 5.
Are you back?
We have the Usos teaming with the Lucha Dragons and Ryback against the New Day, King Barrett, and Sheamus.
Mid-card face versus mid-card heel. There you go.
Well, I can say putting the New Day in this match is pretty much the only thing that saved it. And even then, I would say the match itself probably ended up being like a 3 out of 5. To be 100% honest, before we even get into it, it was probably a 3 out of 5. And honestly, probably the most entertaining match of the night, purely because of the New Day.
I mean, they could make it work. It was hilarious how they came into the fucking ring, and you see Sheamus and Barrett trying to dance with them and shit. And the New Day, they're just entertaining. They could literally just sit there in the ring for 15 minutes and call that a match, and they would be more entertaining than the other 2 matches.
Exactly, and that's honestly, to me, that's the saddest part. But I guess at the same time, it's not, because again, I already made reference to it's sports entertainment. So as long as they go out there and they're entertaining, then sure, it's great. But I don't know, I still feel like people like the Dudley Boys, they shouldn't have been on the Kickoff show. They brought the Dudley Boys back, and they lost a rivalry, the first rivalry, immediately to the New Day. And what have they been doing since?
Absolutely nothing.
The Wyatt family are going after the Dudley Boys. Like, come on. I don't know. I think that Dudley Boys should have been brought, especially for Survivor Series. They should have been in the actual matchup. Boot the Lucha Dragons. I don't fucking know. Like, I like Kalisto, but I don't see Lucha Dragons even at mid-card status. It would have been nice to see the Usos, the Dudley Boys, and Ryback versus the New Day and Sheamus and Barrett. I don't know. I want to see something more than what they're doing. Like Like, what I'm afraid of what's going to happen is the New Day is here. They're great. They're entertaining. And WWE is just going to push them on their own by themselves. And it's just going to get boring. Because eventually, like, the one reason that the New Day does so well is because they feed off of what's around them. You know, when they feed off, they get new material, they crack jokes based off of what's around them. And it's like, yes, you can send the New Day out, and they can do their thing, and they can wiggle their hips, and they can talk about unicorns, and this, and that, and this, and that. But it's funnier, you know, when you have Big E reacting to something that Dudley said, that Bubba Ray said, or something like that. You know, it's funnier when you see them react to somebody else than to just go out there and just, oh, we're the New Day, we're the New Day, we're the New Day. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the New Day too. It's just I don't want to see them go down that road where it's just the same old thing after same old thing after same old thing. I don't know. I just feel like it's
WWE is panic booking. That's all it is. They lost all of their stars. They have nobody. They literally have nobody. High card main eventer, unless they like throw Brock Lesnar and say, "Hey, I want to take the title from Sheamus." That's it. That's all they could do.
I mean, we spoke about that in the past. Sheamus versus Brock Lesnar would be great. It would be a great matchup. It's one that we haven't seen yet either.
It's very sad. I mean, they didn't even put Brock Lesnar in the tournament at all.
No, you can't, because there's no way Lesnar's going to lose.
Well, shenanigans. I don't know.
No, there's no point in wasting one of Brock Lesnar's dates on that just to have him lose. If Lesnar's gonna come back and they're gonna use his dates, it's gonna be for him to win.
Okay, then. Well, I was gonna say Undertaker, but no, I don't know.
No, you can't do that. Not at the 25-year anniversary of Undertaker. He's not gonna compete in some tournament.
Yeah.
To then what? What if he loses his semifinal match? You know, 25 years Undertaker as he loses. You know.
This is a sad pay-per-view. It's so sad.
Getting back on topic, we're speaking about the traditional Survivor Series matchup again. Like we spoke about the Kickoff show one. It's one that it felt so awkwardly out of place because there was no build up, there was no point to it, and that makes me so much sadder because again, you have 20 superstars now. Between the two Survivor Series matchups, you could have easily, very, very, very easily done something to build up hype for a traditional Survivor Series matchup. So easily with the New Day, the hype that the Dudleys bring, the cosmic wasteland that between Stardust, Goldust, and Barrett. You know, you could have easily done something to build hype for that. And nothing. They just scramble together two matches the night of and call it good. I don't know. I feel like it would have been so much better, even with the match that we got. It would have been so much more hype if something happened to build it at the pay-per-view instead of just, oh, here you go. Here's your quote-unquote traditional Survivor Series matchup.
Really sad. This is
booty.
It's depressing.
No pun intended, because of the New Day, but that was booty. That was booty. Moving on down the card. We didn't even rate that match. Oh, and that's the other thing that pissed me off about that was that the New Day, even though they're the #1 tag team right now, they walked out. Like, that was such a pathetic ending to your quote-unquote traditional Survivor Series match. Is they turned around and walked out, and it was Sheamus by himself in the ring. And it's like, come on, at least for Survivor Series, end it as an actual match, not as, oh, they walked out.
Great booking. It's great booking.
I don't know. Anyways, moving on down the card. Up next, we have, yet again, beating a dead horse. Literally. Pale horse. Not a dark horse. We have the Divas Championship match. Charlotte, who has been thrusted into the spotlight over the past month, getting the Divas Championship, defending against Paige. And much like Dean Ambrose, I don't like Paige. Everyone always tells me, go back and watch her NXT stuff, do this, do that, do this, do that. She just seems super cliche as a Divas wrestler, as a women's wrestler, and it's just like, okay, we get it. We get this character. Come on now. And it just really aggravates and annoys me that they keep trying to push her. How many times over the past couple months has she had a Divas Championship shot? and she's lost over and over and over and over. She even said it. She even said to Charlotte, "You did what I couldn't do," and that was beat Nikki Bella. So now, why is it that Paige, of all people, gets to go up against Charlotte? I mean, I guess if you want to be objective and say, oh, Paige was just putting over Charlotte. But to be honest, I don't think Charlotte needs to be put over. Charlotte got the ultimate push. She beat Nikki Bella. She ended her 300 fucking day streak. You don't need Paige to push her over. What you need to do is go back to this whole quote-unquote Divas Revolution and pull Becky Lynch. Have her wrestle. Push her.
Sasha Banks.
Becky Lynch hasn't done anything. I want you to know, when I went to Hell in a Cell, I was sitting in the 6th fucking row. During the Charlotte versus Nikki Bella match, everybody started chanting, "We want Sasha. We want Sasha." How is it? How can you sit there and ignore what your audience is literally begging for? They literally want you to send this person out and we want to watch them wrestle, and you don't do it. Nobody wants to see Charlotte versus Paige. How many times have you sat and watched an NXT match where Charlotte and Bayley and Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch tore the fucking house down? Just recreate that on the main roster. There's so many people that watch Monday Night Raw that have never even seen NXT. Just give them Sasha versus Charlotte, and I guarantee you, you'll have 5-star match.
They could run that match
after
for like
5-star.
15, 20 minutes, and that would be an amazing match to put on.
Exactly. Unless they're saving it for WrestleMania. I don't fucking know. To just do that. The people want Sasha Banks. Give them Sasha Banks. Now, I can understand why Charlotte was the first one to get the push. It's Ric Flair's daughter. You know, it's easy for them for them to get her mass appeal over the crowd because of her dad. This and that. That's great. That's awesome. I think it's amazing. I think it's only fitting that one of these new NXT women's wrestlers that came up has the title right now. But at the same time, again, listen to exactly what your audience wants. Look what happened with Daniel Bryan. Nobody thought Daniel Bryan was going to be a big shit, but the audience just fucking attached to this dude, and he blew the fuck up.
It took forever for him to get the title, by the way. Absolutely.
Do
forever.
that for Sasha Banks. You hear the people begging for her. Fucking send her out. Like Sasha Banks has been nowhere. I think she was on Monday Night Raw this past week. But besides that, she hasn't done shit. And it's like, why? You do this whole thing of Divas Revolution, and you want everyone to come out and support this women's wrestling, but then you just squash it and you focus on one wrestler. And it's like, why? I don't get it.
WWE Creative, the best creative in the world. They got great writers over there.
I was gonna say, I'm sorry for my little mini tangent. It's just, I want to see Sasha Banks as Divas Champion. I think of everyone, she deserves the most. But speaking of the actual match itself, it was okay.
Some of the regular matches on the card, to be honest.
I was gonna say it was pretty decent. It was pretty decent. I think, was it Paige or was it Charlotte that had a over the top rope thing? I don't remember exactly. I don't remember exactly. I know that they had a. Oh! I remember what it was. I was sitting there thinking. I remember someone doing something when Paige got up on the fucking what is it called? Barricade, and she kept throwing Charlotte into the barricade, and she stood up on there screaming and yelling, which, by the way, Paige has like a 14-year-old boy's voice. I don't understand why her voice is so goddamn deep. This is my house. Like, come on. She's sitting there screaming and yelling, and Charlotte gets up on the barricade and does the spear to her off the barricade, which again I give props for, because in women's wrestling you almost never see something like that.
You don't even get them on the barricades and shit.
You don't. I would give them props for that, even though the execution was a little bit spotty. Still, I give him props for going for it. That was pretty fucking decent. That was another one of those moments where I stood up, I stopped what I was doing, I was like, oh goddamn, okay, I see you, Charlotte, I see you. But still, I don't know. Like Mo said, the match was a little bit better than some of the other ones on the card. But still, I just don't want Paige anywhere near the title scene. Just go away, please.
I mean, Charlotte, champion, still. Storyline's over, I'm pretty sure. Please. God. Stop with that. And let's just have more other superstars rather than just Paige and the Bellas, because that's boring. Absolutely boring.
How would you rank the Divas Championship match from Survivor Series?
I'd give it a 3.5.
3.5.
What?
I would give it a 2.5. I'd give it a 2.5.
No, it was so much better than all the fucking other matches on the card. Plus, I like Paige.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5, and that's only because of Paige. It's only because of her spear. Take it back. Only because of Charlotte, and because of her spear. And I don't know. I thought it was kind of lame, the ending, because it's like Paige could have easily just reached out for the ropes. It wasn't like she was in the middle of the ring when the figure 4 or the figure 8 lock was on.
I think everyone in the locker room gave up on the pay-per-view.
You could just reach out to the ropes and just fucking get out. That's whatever.
They gave up on the pay-per-view. They already knew. It was like, Survivor Series is shit. Let's just put on shit matches. Fuck it.
I'm gonna say 2.5 stars of 5. Mo's giving it a 3.5. Moving down the card, we have Dolph Ziggler against Tyler Breeze. Now, everyone's been asking for forever and ever. When's Tyler Breeze gonna go to the main roster? Because I think he's been on NXT since it started, and he's still there. And finally, they're pushing him. They had him debut on SmackDown. I think it was on Raw once or twice, and now he's got a match. But I would say if there was someone that he had to have an initial storyline against, it would be Dolph Ziggler. Like that, in my opinion, that's too perfect of a storyline to not let it happen. And I think it's perfect to push Tyler Breeze against Dolph Ziggler, because Dolph Ziggler is like a mid-card talent right now. You know, it's not like how the Ascension came and they debuted and they just flopped immediately, or how Emma came up to the main roster and just flopped immediately. You know, they put Tyler Breeze out against this person who's like, oh god, it's like how I spoke about before, how it's like each wrestler has their own individual character about them, and it's like you would love to see so and so go up against so and so because of their characters, and this is another one of those perfect examples. Like, I would love to see Tyler Breeze go up against Dolph Ziggler because it's their perfect character. You know? I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
I mean, I don't see it. I don't know. I don't know Dolph Ziggler enough and Tyler Breeze. I know Tyler Breeze enough, but I don't understand Dolph Ziggler enough. I hate him. I fucking hate him. So
I thought you liked Dolph Ziggler. Never mind.
No, I fucking hate Ziggler. He gets me pissed off just looking at him.
Now you know how I feel about Dean Ambrose.
Hey, I love Dean Ambrose. I'm a member of the Ambrose Asylum. Okay.
Anyways, I would say when it comes down to a match itself, I would say this was probably the best match on the card.
6 minute and 40-second match. I mean, I have the wiki open. It's a 6 minute match. It's one of the best matches on the card. That's kind of sad.
I'm just talking about like the in-ring technicalities and whatnot. Like, I think they put on the best actual match of the night compared to everyone else. I would say the women's championship match and maybe I don't know, the semifinal matches. I almost forgot about those. I don't know. I would give it a 3 out of 5 match. I think it was a decent debut rivalry for Breeze, especially considering the fact that he debuted just a few weeks ago and he's already got a pay-per-view match. Not only a pay-per-view match, but at one of the big 4, quote unquote. You know, so
yeah.
I don't know. I like the fact that Breeze got the push because again, it's another NXT wrestler that's coming up and actually getting a chance.
People don't dislike him.
Exactly, and that was the one thing that we spoke about a while back. I think when we did a few NXT reviews, is would Tyler Breeze's character actually work on the main roster? And it seems to be working so far. It seems to be doing fine. So I don't know. More props to him. I can't really speak too technical on each of the matches tonight because again, this happened a week ago. We behind on the motherfucking. But you know, I'm not even mad about that either because most of the time these reviews, we'll speak about the actual match itself like 10 to 15% of the time, and the rest of the time is where we want to see their rivalry go from here on out, where they should be placed, where they should be doing this, where they should be doing that. It's not even about the match itself, which is kind of fucking stupid, but hey, it is what it is. We do what we do. How would you rate Tyler Breeze versus Dolph Ziggler?
It was an okay match. I don't really get it. I don't really understand the storyline. I wasn't too into looking at their little thing going on, so I'll give it a 2.5 ish.
Summer Rae is hoeing around. She went from Rusev to Dolph Ziggler, and then now she's over Dolph Ziggler and with Tyler Breeze.
That's it.
That's the gist.
The
and it's
storyline, like
Dolph Ziggler is like, I've been where you are, Tyler Breeze. I know what you're doing. I know where you're gonna, yada yada yada. It's like Dolph Ziggler's like the seasoned vet versus the ungrateful rookie, Tyler Breeze.
Whoa, that's a 3-star
rivalry right there.
Rivalry, yeah. Okay, I have to give it 3 now.
Better purchase that rider real quick.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that they're utilizing Tyler Breeze right though. I'll give him that, and he's doing some shit, and people actually like him. So I'll give it a 3-star. I give it a 3-star.
Swag, bitch. Moving down the card. And I feel bad saying this because I feel like we're with these
I hated
reviews.
This match. This was so boring.
We're very, very critical a lot of the time, and I think it may give off. If someone were to sit down and watch one of these reviews for the first time on their own, not knowing us or anything like that, you would think that we hate WWE and we hate the product because we're so critical about it. But there are times when we offer a lot of praise as well. One example is like if you go back and watch the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view review when we spoke about the Kevin Owens John Cena match. We had nothing but beaming positive things to say. That every once in a while there are diamonds in the rough, but more often than not we have a lot of critical things to say because, in all honesty, there are more things that WWE is doing wrong right now than they are doing right, especially when it comes to creative. But I wanted to say all that because I don't want you to think, yet again, that we dislike WWE or anything like that. We wouldn't be here in the first place doing this, but we have to be super duper critical of this next match because I have nothing but nasty things to say.
Oh, this match was so bad. Oh,
we have
so bad.
The Brothers of Destruction versus the Wyatt family, symbolizing / celebrating The Undertaker's 25th anniversary here in the WWE. 25 years to the day. 25 years. That is an incredibly long time. That's a quarter of a century. That's older than me.
A long ass fucking career.
That is a very, very long career. That some of you guys watching right now aren't even 25 years old.
I'm not 25.
Exactly. That's why I say it's older than me. So you would think they would go above and beyond to celebrate The Undertaker. He's not just any wrestler. He's easily one of the biggest appeals, one of the biggest draws WWE has right now, and one of the biggest appeals, one of the biggest draws they've had for the past 25 years. But what we ended up getting was the Brothers of Destruction versus the Wyatt family. Okay, so let's do this. Let's be positive first, Mo. Let's be positive.
Okay, we have the Brothers of Destruction. They're they're great. Everyone loves them. Undertaker, 25 years. Kane, his mask. He has the mask back on. He's like cool. He's Undertaker's brother. All that. The air of their tag team is great. The Wyatt family. They're cool too.
No. We're on. I was gonna say we're still on positive. I thought you were about to rail into.
No. They're cool too. They got that little cult following type of shit. They're like the new face of fear. We got old versus new. It's great. We also have the addition of Braun Strowman in here too. Braun Strowman. They've apparently been pushing a lot. They apparently love him a lot because he's huge. He skipped NXT for God's sakes, and they put on a intriguing show.
You guys know Braun Strowman has a Twitter account? You should go follow him. Anyways, watch him tweet about raccoons and such. Positives. Like Mo said, we have the Brothers of Destruction, which are a name that have been around for a very, very long time. And it's a very impressive and intimidating tag team because you're taking The Undertaker, and in my mind, you're lowering him to meet up with Kane. Because I feel like when they're on their own, Undertaker is so much more of a draw than Kane is. but at the same time you're elevating Kane to meet up with The Undertaker. So you have like this not crazy high main event type matchup, but at the same time you have this tag team that's super fucking hype that you want to see the match that they're in. You know, like, could you imagine like if they did Brothers of Destruction versus the Dudley Boys right now?
Oh,
or if they did like Brothers of Destruction versus the New Day or something like that. I feel like if it was that, you would know that the New Day is going to lose. But like Dudley Boys versus the Brothers of Destruction. See what I'm talking about? Or it's like Undertaker can main event, Kane can't really main event anymore. But at the same time, you have enough hype there because it's Undertaker, it's Kane, they're together. You know, I want to see what the fuck's gonna happen.
He could main event. He could like be really low on the card.
They tried that, Mo. They tried that. They called it. It was Seth Rollins versus Kane was a filler match. It's not happening.
I like Kane. Kane's great.
Nah, Mo. I mean, I like Kane too, but realistically, I don't see him as a main eventer right now. Yeah. It's not. Nah, Mo. No. But still, it's a hype matchup. You have the Brothers of Destruction reuniting for the first time in years, especially to celebrate Undertaker's 25th anniversary in the company. Like most said, you had the Wyatt family. Personally, I did not like Bray Wyatt at first, but he has grown on me. I could tell you when I went to Hell in a Cell and he came out for his match against Roman Reigns, I want you to know, I thought they had lights on in the arena. And I turned around and all the lights are off. It's so bright because of the cell phones. Honestly, it does not do, TV does not do it justice. Until you are there and you are part of the Fireflies, it does not do you justice. I like Bray Wyatt. I like the Wyatt family. I do. So we have positives. I think when it comes to negatives surrounding the matchup, starting with the Wyatts first, the Wyatt family could have so much more of a presence, so much more of an impact. They could be so much higher on the card if they would actually have, number one, reasoning behind most of what they do, and number two, if they would actually fucking win.
They get buried by every face ever.
Over and over and over and over again. Bray Wyatt goes after somebody and gets completely annihilated. Completely annihilated. It's just shit on. Squashed. And it's like, why?
Daniel Bryan buried them. The Shield buried them.
You're trying to make Bray Wyatt into the new face of fear. How scary is it if you know he's going to lose?
They need to make them a dominant force. They need to make them like interfere on every match and try to just take over the whole fucking roster.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, make the Wyatt family into the crazed fucking murderers that they are. Slap the world title on Bray Wyatt. Give the tag titles to Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. Give the IC title, the US title to Braun Strowman. Yo,
give that
fuck
shit
it. Give him both. Give him both fucking titles. He's that much of a dominant force that he can contend for both and take them. You know, do some evolution type shit with the Wyatt family just to excel them and push them so much higher on the card.
And people love them too.
And then you have that notion of who can topple the Wyatt family. Who can topple the fucking Wyatt family? You know, could you imagine, like, next year at Survivor Series, if they were to introduce a fifth Wyatt family member, and they had the Wyatt family versus whoever in the Survivor Series matchup? Like, that would be hype as shit. Like, if you start at SummerSlam, or if you start at Battleground, or something like that, and you have the Wyatt family begin this just tear of domination of WWE, and then it's like, who can stop the Wyatt family? And then you have a Survivor Series matchup, and that would be hype as shit. That would be so fucking hype. I don't know. I just think the Wyatt family, they need to start winning more matches, and they would be more of a threatening presence in WWE. And I don't think that the Wyatt family was the right people to take on the Brothers of Destruction, because again, it's one of those things where, let's be real, who's going to win this match?
They could have built up the Brothers of Destruction. They could have fed them to like a top one, like the Dudleys or something, but no, Wyatt family. Obvious loss.
In all honesty, to celebrate 25 years, and before I even speak about that, let me step back for a moment. They literally built this entire pay-per-view off of Undertaker's 25 years. They released a whole new DVD set. They ran promos for it every 5 fucking minutes.
Jesus
all
Christ.
Off of the Undertaker's 25 years. And this is the match we get.
Yeah.
This scrubby little matchup. And again, it's not something we haven't seen before. Didn't Taker wrestle Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania twice?
I don't know if it's twice, maybe one. I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. Really?
Unless I'm getting it mixed up with something else. I know they wrestled at WrestleMania before and Taker beat him.
No, I know that one time. That was like last year's WrestleMania or this year's. I think.
So my whole thing goes back to it again. It's like, it's not something that we haven't seen before. So why is it for the 25th anniversary, Undertaker goes up against the Wyatt family? To be 100% honest, I don't think for Undertaker's 25 years, it should have been the Brothers of Destruction. And that's being super critical.
It should have just been Undertaker.
Exactly. Because it's not Undertaker and Kane celebrating 25 years. You know, Kane is like a footnote to the entire thing. You know, you should have pushed just Undertaker himself. Undertaker versus the world.
Undertaker wouldn't even have to have a match, to be honest. He could have had this little presence thing where he just shows up to one of the superstars' matches, and he has this, like, he just starts doing this whole thing where he has this, oh, rest in peace, blah, 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 and superstars matches end, or I don't know. They could have done something where, like, Undertaker's like this crazy face of fear, and it's 25 years, and it's like Fear the Undertaker. He's been around for so long, and people still are afraid of him. I don't know. They could have done something cool.
I feel like the reason they did that is because Taker can't handle the match on his own anymore. Because, you know, you can clearly see Taker's age is catching up with him in the ring. So if he can lean on Kane, who does look decent for his age, he can still move in the ring. If you can lean on Kane and have him, you know, give Taker a rest throughout the match and whatnot, that would I guess make him look better. I can tell you Kane had a better choke slam when they did stereo choke slams in the ring. I don't know. It was just one of those things where I feel like for how much they build it, and just the simple fact that it's the 25 years of The Undertaker, I feel like something more should have been done. To be 100% honest. Especially tack on the fact that it's one of the big 4 pay-per-views. Which, you know, in conversation with PK has said the Survivor Series has kind of slipped from that grace. Now it's just the big 3. So,
that sucks.
It really does suck. It really does suck. And I think this year's Survivor Series, if anything, really promoted that, especially. So,
the lack of superstars, they can't do shit.
I don't know. I would say the best spot in the match, I think we all knew that someone was going to go through a table at one point or another. I'm really glad that it wasn't Taker and it wasn't Kane. This is how I felt back at Night of Champions when Sting went through the table. I think that Rollins should have 100% gone through that table. I'm sure they didn't do that though because they wanted to protect him and keep him from being injured, which ironically ends up getting injured on a simple fucking match. He wasn't even the one going through the table and he got injured.
Dark match. Dead.
Yeah. It was just at a house show and he gets injured. So, I don't know. I think I am glad that Braun Strowman ended up going through the table because it was kind of surprising that it was Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt. I thought for sure it'd be Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman against the Brothers of Destruction. But I am kind of happy that he did have some sort of hand in the match and they ended up double chokeslamming his big ass through the table. That, I would say, was the highlight of the match just because it was like, it was so fitting. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it just felt good to watch. It was like, yes, the Brothers of Destruction putting this this evil force against them through the table. Like, that was a feel good moment in the match. So, I don't know. If you had to rate the match out of 5, Mo, what would you give it?
It's pretty lame. I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
2.5.
I do not. I did.
Divas match higher than Undertaker's 25 years.
I'm sorry. It was sloppy. I didn't really care for it. I was like, I already knew the outcome. It was me looking at it as an actual like person that looks at wrestling and can see and be thrilled. And like, if it's predictable and there's no thrill to it, then I don't care. It's like, oh, okay. The spots were all right. They weren't like amazing, and the fact that it was like the Wyatts were gonna lose again, and you already knew, like, it's sloppy. It was so sloppy. It's like I did not give a shit about it, to be honest. But yeah.
Surprisingly enough, for me, I'm kind of torn. I really want to give it a 3, but at the same time, I want to give it a 2. I want to give it a 3 for the star power that's involved in the match. Like I mentioned before, it's been years since we've seen the Brothers of Destruction together, so it's nice to see that. But at the same time, it's very, very predictable. But then the table spot just was a feel-good moment for me. So I don't know. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice because it's Taker's 25th. But then again, because it's Taker's 25th, I want to be mean. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice. I'm torn between a 2 and a 3. I'm gonna be nice and give it a 3.
Oh well.
I'm gonna be nice and give it a 3. Like I said, it had the good was good, and the bad, even though there's a lot of bad, I still think the good was good enough to outweigh how much bad there was.
It was so bad. So bad.
Oh my god. Well, the final match of the night.
Oh god.
The finals tournament. The finals of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship Tournament. And we have Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose, which everyone called from the beginning. The moment the tournament was announced, everyone knew that that was what's going to end up happening. And sure enough, it did.
And it was boring.
And I don't understand why Dean Ambrose couldn't get another shirt. Did he only own one black wife beater? Like, nigga, just because Kevin Owens, Kevin Owens ripped it off, you didn't mean you had to leave it like that. Come on now. Whoever told him in the back to leave his shirt like that, they should be fired. Bobby, don't stop. But still, the match itself, honestly, I enjoyed their individual semifinals matches better than this match.
It was so boring.
To be 100% honest.
Dean Ambrose can't really work with Reigns in the ring. It's just like Dean Ambrose. I like he's good, but Reigns is so stiff, and they don't have this heel face thing going on. It's more like brothers. My brother, Reigns, my brother, and we're gonna fight to the death. And that was the only hype to the match, and it was so stiff, boring. It was so boring. I literally almost fell asleep because I already knew what the outcome was going to be. I didn't like it. Everyone was like, oh my god, Reigns versus Ambrose. No, there was nothing cool about it. There was nothing like Ambrose interfered, or Ambrose is now with the authority, or Reigns is something crazy behind it. There was nothing. It was just Reigns versus Ambrose, and it was like, oh, we're going to be friends after. Don't worry. It's just bullshit. It's bullshit. Bullshit. I like it.
Mo is savage tonight. God damn.
It's garbage. Reigns is stiff as fuck.
I will say, like, with the predictability behind the pay-per-view tonight, knowing that Reigns versus Ambrose is most likely going to end up being what happened, I'm not a huge fan of Ambrose, but I do think one of the two of them deserved to have the title, whether it was Reigns or whether it was Ambrose. I do think one of them, it was one of their times, because they are quote-unquote main event status in the WWE, but someone needs to be built up, especially now that Seth Rollins is out of the picture and John Cena has taken time away, and Undertaker is here but not really here, you know what I mean? And Lesnar's out of the picture as well, even though he should be coming back like within the month or whatever. I don't know, it's just they don't have enough main event wrestlers anymore, so I am kind of happy that they're trying to push the two of them, but
they did it so bad.
No, I don't think they did it so bad, because they tried to push Reigns before, so they're gonna try and push him again. I do think that Reigns has the potential. I think he has so much potential, and I think they're working on the things they need to work on, but he still needs more time. He needs more time than most people would, but I do think Reigns has the potential to be, you know, like the next John Cena or the next The Rock or something like that. He just needs to work on himself so much more.
The Rock has
Dean
more
Ambrose,
charisma in his pinky.
That's why I just said he needs work, Mo. He needs work.
He doesn't need work. He needs a fucking, like, he needs more than just work. It's like he needs to just become a new character. He
needs work. I will say that, but I do think he has the potential to be that main event type of guy. Ambrose is the same way. Even though I don't like him, like I said before, he has that almost Stone Cold persona to him. Not that I'm trying to compare the two or anything like that. It's just, I feel like he could have that fuck the system type attitude and be that huge main event kind of heel / face type of thing.
Anti-hero type of thing.
Anti-hero, yeah. I feel like he could be that. And that's why I said I'm glad that they made it there. I'm glad they're trying to push for someone like that. Oh, you know, I just thought of this. We spoke about this earlier. Who could challenge Del Rio? Cesaro.
Cesaro's out.
I was going to say, I know he's out on injury. I know. But that would be perfect. It doesn't really seem like something Cesaro would do. I don't think Cesaro would come in and cost Del Rio the match like that. But Cesaro versus Del Rio would be a hype-ass rivalry. That would be hype. Especially since Cesaro used to work with Zeb Coulter. It would be hype. They did it with Jack Swagger. Cesaro would be hype. Cesaro needs to push. Give Cesaro a fucking title, please.
Matches to be nice too. To be great matches.
Anyways, back to the main event. I am happy that they're attempting to push one of the two of them, but the match itself wasn't all that. I still think that their individual matches were better in the semifinals, and I'm happy. Like I said, I'm happy one of them won, but Sheamus cashing in Money in the Bank was the biggest predictability of the night. Everyone knew the moment you heard Seth Rollins got injured, that was when they were going to pull the cord on that. That was when they were going to hit the red button and call Sheamus in. Because ever since he won Money in the Bank, that's what everyone's known he was there for. He is that emergency main eventer. Because Sheamus, he's an upper mid-carder. You know, 3 months into WWE, he held the world title. So he could easily call him up at any moment and say, okay, we need you main event. And boom, there he goes. So I think everyone knew the moment they heard that Rollins lost the title that was going to happen at the next pay-per-view. And sure enough, lo and behold, Roman Reigns beats Dean Ambrose and becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion for the first time, might I add you, and loses it.
It was really sad because when he lost it, nobody gave a shit. Like, the crowd was dead. It just was so sad.
I was really kind of fucked too, because there have been other times when someone cashed in Money in the Bank and everyone was like, oh my god, what the fuck? And this time everyone's like, thank you, Sheamus, for saving us. And it's like, really? Like, give him a chance. Jesus fuck, give him a chance. It just sucks. I don't think anyone's first ever World Heavyweight Championship run, especially someone who needs the help like Reigns, should have been in that fashion. He was champion for all of 45 seconds.
He had so much hype too when he fucking speared Triple H. Like, the crowd was actually going crazy.
Yeah.
And then, boom, Sheamus. And it was like, you just literally took out the shovel like 2 seconds later. Like,
yeah. I don't want to say that they got buried. I think Ambrose got buried a little bit because he was nowhere to be seen. He couldn't even come and help.
Tyler Breeze like the next day. He was like, why?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He didn't even come and help his brother in his time of need or anything like that. Ambrose was just gone. Reigns, I don't think Reigns is 100% buried. I think any push that he could have gotten from winning the title definitely buried him then and there. I think he's back to where he started before this whole tournament thing began. It just sucks that his first title reign was 45 seconds long.
Not even
just
34.
Really sucks. It just really sucks. Going forward with this though, they've already announced Reigns versus Sheamus in a TLC match at TLC, which is kind of interesting that they have a Reigns Sheamus promotion going on. But again, I guess that goes back to the whole notion of them
DQ
trying to. Nick, it's a TLC match.
Something happens. I don't know. Lights go out. Some shit.
They re-celebrate Taker's 25th anniversary.
Yes.
It's nice that they have that promo going for Reigns and Sheamus, because again, they need to build more main eventers, and I think it's nice they're doing it this way. I just really hope that Reigns actually gets an actual shot at a title run, because even though we say he needs work, you know, he could come into himself just by the fact of being champion. He could create a precedence for himself as champion. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of times where people really didn't get a lot of momentum moving until they actually won a belt, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, who's this person? So I don't know. Maybe I'm being too optimistic, But I am happy, whether it was Ambrose or Reigns, I'm happy that they're trying to build more serious main eventers and not just have an entire roster of upper mid-carders.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I don't know. I'm neutral on Sheamus cashing in. Like I said, for most part, the entire night was predictable, so we knew it was going to happen. But what would you rank the main event?
The main event? Oh, I want to give it such a bad rating because of how the match went. Oh, I cannot rate it higher than any of the semifinals. I have to give it a 2.5. It was so bad. I hated it so much. I sat there and wanted to fall asleep. I have to give it a 2.5. I just hated all of it.
I would agree. I'm not a huge Roman Reigns fan. I'm not a huge Dean Ambrose fan. I'm not a fan of Dean Ambrose at all, actually. So the match itself, it didn't even have the star power behind it, and it was predictable like most of the card that night. So 2.5 it is. Pay-per-view as a whole, Mo, how would you rate it?
Oh God, it's like it was the worst pay-per-view I've ever seen in my life. But at the same time, am I averaging all the matches or just saying the pay-per-view as a whole?
Just the pay-per-view as a whole.
Oh, fucking.
You don't have to sit there and actually average. It's just,
okay,
if
1
you
out
had
of 5.
to rate the pay-per-view, a 1 out of 5.
It was so bad. It was so predictable and so garbage. And you know what's even worse is the pay-per-view didn't even attract anybody on Monday Night Raw the next night. They had less viewers the next night. That's how bad it was. There was no hype at all.
I would give the pay-per-view a 2 out of 5. Because I can tell you, until I actually sat back and thought about what happened while I was watching the pay-per-view, I was enjoying it. Now, would I recommend someone to go back and watch Survivor Series 2015? No.
I was trying to sleep.
Like I said, while I was watching it, I did enjoy it. But looking back on it, it wasn't as good as I thought it was at the time. It's definitely panic booking out the ass, and it's not panic booking in the sense of, oh, we're going to panic book to make a really, really good card. It's panic booking in the sense of, what do we do? Let's just go with the first thing we can think of, kind of thing. So I don't know. It was okay, but nowhere near amazing. I'll go with that. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5.
Oh well, you're a lot nicer than I am. This pay-per-view was just.
That's very surprising too, because I'm very, very critical of the product.
And I wanted to fall asleep. I've never seen anything so bad. I'm telling you.
Well, here's to TLC being much better. Isn't TLC like next weekend or something like that?
Is it really next weekend?
I thought I saw it was December 3rd, December 4th.
TLC date? What? What? Is it really that? December 13th.
13th, not 3rd. Okay. I was going to say, I thought that was way too close. Well, that is a whopping 2 weeks from Sunday.
Better use Sasha Banks, Boston, Massachusetts. Come on now.
There you go. So we will. I guess 2 weeks to see what's going to turn around, and at the same time, we will see you guys in 2 weeks. I was trying to put the two together there, but we have 2 weeks to see where WWE is gonna what they're gonna do with it next. Only match that's been announced so far is Sheamus versus Reigns for the world title in a TLC match, and I guess we will see you guys then, December 13th. Let us know what you guys thought of Survivor Series in the comment section below, of course. And of course, if you're happy that reviews are back, and if you're proud of the Nappy Nation, make sure you smash our like button down below for us as well. And of course, check out Mo's channel and Twitter, both of which are linked in the description. But with that, we're gonna get about. Thank y'all once again for your support, and thank you for your patience on these reviews. But we're gonna get about this bitch. Bye!
Don't do drugs.